Welcome to the Healing Hour, and I'm your host, Tyhson Banighen, the wellness guy, and I'm with you for the next hour. And my co-host for today's show is Corey Varland, the Moon Lady. And we're here together for the next hour, and we're going to be talking about many things. But of course, this is your show, not our show. Phone in toll free, and we'll help you get you from where you are to where you want to be in the shortest amount of time. The phone number, it should be on the screen, is 1-866-369-7464. If you're coming in by WhatsApp, it's 1 for Canada, 250-803-2480, which is my cell phone. Welcome to the show. And like I said, this is your show, so phone in. So Corey, I know you got lots to talk about and a little bit about who are you anyway? You've been going through lots of change and transformation since the last time we've talked. So what's up?
Well, let me just say that, like many people, I've been going through quite a transformation in the last 16 months because of this crazy thing that we're in called COVID and quarantined. What's that word?
I know, quarantine, something about you're supposed to be by yourself and socially distancing.
Yes. And actually for me, it's actually not been too bad because I have a very strong Scorpio ascendant. And if people know anything about Scorpios, we're pretty passionate and intense. And we basically do very well on our own. So I've been writing and I've been doing what a lot of Scorpios love to do, which is just getting passionate about things. So it's been an intense time. I personally have been through 3 major death experiences in a matter of 60 days.
My goodness.
Yeah, I saw it coming and I knew I would be going through this transformational period. But as most astrologers will tell you, we know what's coming, but we can't exactly tell you exactly what it is.
Right.
But we know the energy. And I knew the energy was going to be deeply, deeply transformational. And it was. I mean, I literally almost died twice.
Now, was it an illness or a near-death experience because of an accident or what?
Yeah, because of just freaky accidents that happened.
Wow.
And I live in Edmonton, and if anyone knows what Edmonton is like in December and January, it's basically layers of snow upon ice upon snow, and it just continues to build. And you can be walking down the street or a sidewalk, and next thing you know, you're on your ass.
Yeah, you're airborne. Yeah, why anybody would live in Edmonton, I don't understand. I mean, I did work with St. John's Cathedral Boys School outside of Edmonton, and at 30 below would be delivering honey door to door with the boys from the school. I don't know, I guess I never left anybody lost in Edmonton, but I don't know how many times I got lost in Edmonton trying to find my way between avenues and streets and numbers. Oh my good God. Yeah, it's like falling off the edge of the earth in Edmonton in the middle of winter. God, it's cold. My goodness.
It is. In fact, February and March are the worst months here because it goes down to minus 40.
Wow, yeah. I snowshoed in that stuff, and that's not fun.
But I have to say, because I've lived almost all over the world, and I actually lived in Hawaii for 4 months, and I got bored. I was just a Canadian bored because it was just beautiful weather all the time. And
all I can say is I'm ready for a little boredom.
And I was just island, the island madness that Canadians experience. Like
but isn't that your Scorpio desire for more freedom and fire and energy and don't tie me down, right?
Well, I love the volcano aspect of living on the islands. That was kind of cool.
Yeah.
But anyways, Tyhson, what I would love to share with, may I say our audience?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, absolutely. Our audience. Nobody's out there right now saying hello, so phone in 1-866-369-7464. So we're not all alone, but we'll do just fine without you, but we'd love to hear from you. What's up in your life? Are you going through change and transformation? Did you too have a near-death experience? What's up with you? All right, back to you.
Thank you. So that people aren't phoning in doesn't mean they're not listening, right?
Well, yeah, I guess that's true,
yeah. And again, speaking from my Scorpio field of energy, sometimes it's pretty okay just to be listening, because that's one thing that a lot of us don't do anymore in reality. We're not good listeners. So what I wanted to open up with is the effect of the last total lunar eclipse that we had it back in May.
Wow. Did anybody go loony over the lunar eclipse?
Well, I'm sure many people do, because a lunar eclipse is basically just a fancy name for a full moon, but it's a special type of full moon.
No.
And the eclipse was on May the 26th. And first of all, what I want to tell our audience is that anybody that was born in any year, Tyson, any year, but they were born between the 23rd, 24th, 25th, 26th, and 27th of May, anybody born in that time field, in that time, will be getting a direct download from this eclipse.
Wow.
So I encourage people who might be listening, if you're born in that time period, and also in the opposite time of the year. So when you're born on the opposite time of the year, you can still pick up the eclipse energy. And
Are you calculating like mad in your head about what's the opposite time?
well, the opposite time is, I thought I made a note here somewhere. The opposite time is going to be around December. Well, actually, late November. So in late November, anybody born around the 27th, 28th, 29th, especially, they'll get the effect. In fact, in a way, the Sagittarians out there, those born at the beginning of the sign of Sagittarius, are going to get this impact even stronger, because when there's the full moon, when there's a lunar eclipse, often it's where of course the moon is, where you get the most action. And so of course at the end of May, we're in the time of Gemini. Mm-hmm. And so when you get the full moon, it means the moon has gone into the opposite sign. So the full moon that I'm talking about, which was the lunar eclipse, had the sun in Gemini, but the moon in Sagittarius. So it literally lights you up. So all these Sagittarians who are normally pretty lit up anyways.
What about if your moon was in Sagittarius, Lynn?
Oh my Lord, then you really, that's a good observation. When you have a moon in Sagittarius and there is an eclipse or a full moon, it's like all of your natural instinctive qualities come out. So what are the qualities of Sagittarius? Now, I do believe that you know something about Sagittarius, Tyson.
I have a moon rising in Sagittarius, which sort of, I guess, put some impetus into my mellow yellow Libra sign.
That's right. So anyone that has a moon in Sagittarius, their whole life is an adventure, basically.
Wow, we're on a quest.
That's your big cosmic algorithm that was hardwired into you.
Wow.
In fact, a lot of people don't know this, and I'm happy to share this because, as some of your listeners may know, I'm a former teacher. I used to teach in Canada. I actually used to teach in the public school system, and that almost killed me. And you know, my students, I used to teach grade 5 and grade 6, and you know, those little kids, you know, that age, they're 10 and 11, and they're just rambunctious as you know what. And the only way I could get them to quieten down is I tell them the stories of the zodiac.
Great idea.
And they would go like, it would be like fox ears, like their ears would go up. They'd stop their little, you know, rattlings and rumblings, and they'd actually listen to my zodiac stories. And the theme about astrology that a lot of people don't know is that you're actually more like your moon sign. People don't know this, so please let me inform everyone. When you have your chart done, or you can call in and I'm happy to tell you where your moon sign is, we're really more like our moon, because the moon is the instinctive part of who we are and how we act. So Tyson, for you, you're obviously on many levels acting more like a Sagittarian than a Libran, because your moon sign basically, like, it's like when you come out of the womb, you're pre-programmed.
Pretty hardwired, and it's pretty hard to stop that. Well, who wants to stop it? You couldn't anyway. Yeah, I'm pretty hardwired, and I think the whole thing about a quest or the Holy Grail or trying to get something done or legacy or any of those words are just like, it's almost addictive. So learning how to let go of that, because in the end, it's got nothing to do with us. It has to do with letting go. And by the way, we have a guest joining us here on Zoom itself. So we'll bring you in, George, and see if you have a question. So we're just finishing off this moon sign in Sagittarius. And so why is the moon so important? Is it because it really is sort of like the shadow unconscious part of your being that really wants to come forth and play? Is that really what that's all about, or what?
The moon energy in mythology has always been related to our instinctive side, to our maternal genetic code. And the moon is about what gives us our feeling of home and instinctive responses to life. And so anyone would say the moon in Sagittarius loves to take risks because that's what makes them feel at home. And so anybody with a moon in Sagittarius would be bored out of their mind if they have to do the same type of job every day, or if they're under stress because of bill paying, or if they have a spouse or a mate that continually stifles their love of adventure. That's death to either a Sagittarian, but especially to someone with a moon in Sagittarius.
Wow, that's interesting. So let's see, let's call on, I think George was the first one through here. So let's just admit George and see if he has a question here. So George, I'm just going to allow you to come in, and don't forget to unmute yourself. And here's George. Well, hello there, George. What's up? You got your sound off. You're larger than life on the screen with your picture. George, can you bring your turn your mic on? We'll ask you to unmute. All right, it doesn't sound like George wants to say anything right now, so we'll see if Bob would like to come on and say something here. So, all right, Bob, you're up. So, Bob, would you like to ask a question? Bob, you've got your sound off. Ask you to unmute. Well, we've got people joining the show, but nobody's talking to us, but that's okay.
Well, let me continue to speak about this eclipse, Tyson.
All right, keep going, yeah.
So what I really want to share with people today that I think is good news for all of us is that this particular eclipse, and it was a total lunar eclipse, really brings out our ability to have an open mind, because the eclipse activated across the Gemini Sagittarius axis. And a lot of people don't know this about Geminis, but the main theme of a Gemini personality, and if you have the moon in Gemini, is you're curious. So curiosity is a huge part of being alive and being open to new experiences. And with this eclipse, what it's going to do for all those people that were affected by it at the end of May and the end of November is it's going to open you up to looking at your life in a way where you can have just more freedom. It just is going to bring in more fun. And that's for sure something that we all need right now. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, absolutely. I'm taking life way too serious. I do go play with the horses, try and do it every Friday, although I'm making it sort of every other Friday. So yeah, building in having fun is really, really important.
And a lot of people tend to look at the zodiac signs more like caricatures. And that actually happens when you have a very limited awareness of how these zodiac signs work, because they're basically archetypal patterns. Right. And I think Geminis, in a way, get some of the worst PR going, because, they're often typified as being flippy and, just not able to follow through. And just downright silliness, right? There's a lot of stupid stuff attached to the so-called Gemini personality. And I really would like to just banish those ideas here and now. One of the most amazing Gemini personalities out there is Steffi Graf. You know who she is? Steffi Graf, the famous tennis player.
No, I don't, but I can imagine she's pretty
Yeah,
centered on what she does, right?
yeah. And so
Was that
people
that's not the new young uprising one, right?
say that again.
She's the new young uprising tennis player, right?
Oh, she was, yeah. She's married to Andre Agassi. And Steffi Graf is like, she's a triple Gemini. She's got a sun, moon, and her ascendant is in Gemini. And this woman is far from any car- caricature of a Gemini. I mean, the woman is quiet.
Yeah.
She hardly talks. And she's incredibly focused. And just like you'd never pick her off as a Gemini. But what Geminis have is that they have this incredible ability to just explore and to really, go deep in what they do. And the other thing about Geminis and why this is an important time, Tyson, for so many of us, is one of the main features of Gemini is their ability to reinvent themselves.
Yeah.
So I want to say this again. We're in a time where we can all reinvent ourselves.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And of course, that's what your near-death experiences were. I guess if you're not going to reinvent yourself, then the universe will help you do it.
Absolutely. The universe has a wonderful way of uh, of having you pay attention. And sometimes, if you don't listen to that inner voice, Socrates used to say that he had an inner voice. It didn't tell him what to do; it told him what not to do.
Oh, that's interesting. And so that's sort of like why you want to have an ego around, because when you're on the edge of the cliff, it says, beware. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes.
So,
And it's actually so important to listen to that inner voice, especially when it was especially when it tells you not to do something. Because I had a distinct voice that told me not to do what I did. And
what did you do?
3 seconds later, I was
Airborne.
I was airborne and then splayed in the middle of an intersection.
Oh my God. So you did slip. That's what happened, eh?
Oh, I did more than slip.
Oh.
Oh, yes, indeed. I almost punctured my lung
Oh my
because, anyways, I'm quite the character. I was riding my bicycle.
Right, in the middle of winter. Yeah.
Oh, yes, in the middle of winter, where you have
a friend in Ottawa who does that too.
Well, actually, you get better traction because you've got tires.
Yeah,
and I've
right.
got, big fat tires on my bike for the winter. But I went careening through this intersection. I was probably going 1 mile an hour and I still went crashing through. And I landed on one of my handlebars.
Oh.
And the handlebar almost pierced my lung.
Whoa.
Oh, baby, that was stupid.
Wow. Ouch. Oh, yes. I can feel it all the way from here.
Very much an ouch, ouch, ouch. Yes.
Oh, my goodness. So that's number one. You had two others.
Yes, and then three days later, there was a huge windstorm here. We had gusts of over 100 kilometers an hour, and I was almost blown off my balcony.
Off your balcony? The hell were you
doing? And I'm not exactly 100-pounder woman, and I slipped and I fell, and I almost cut my thigh in half.
Wow!
Not my thigh, but I almost cut my leg in half as I was moving between my patio sliding window, which can, those patio windows, how they slide, and it's almost like a knife edge that they slide on.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I almost cut my leg in half on that.
And you slipped when going in or coming out and fell on it or what? Yeah,
well, the wind actually threw me back onto
it.
Coming back into my apartment, yeah. And what's really interesting is the planet Saturn just moved into Aquarius during the Christmas time period. And the Aquarian part of the body, as many people know, is the lower part of the calf and the ankle.
Yeah.
And actually, all three of my near-death experiences were relating to my lower limbs. So.
Well, one of the deep clearing protocol statements is, I desire not to how does it go? Something about in this lifetime, I choose not to take the path of sacrifice as my way of achieving enlightenment, or where's the fact, right? because the old paradigm was that somehow we had to suffer, somehow we had to be on the cross, somehow we had to, be sliced or diced or crucified or flagellate ourselves or somehow be in pain or suffering in order to become enlightened or become more real or crystallized or whatever. So, I mean, it's old programming that somehow that is the path to take. And that's definitely the Piscean age, right?
Definitely. And it is certainly part of the whole Christian ideology of suffering, right? Because Jesus died on the cross for, for our sins. And so we have inculcated this energy of suffering totally.
Right. And we want to get rid of that programming. I mean, in the age of Aquarius, there's no need for that suffering of pain and near-death experiences to order to learn. I mean, we can learn through joy. We can learn through laughter. We can learn through any of the other emotions. We don't have to do the lower ones, right?
And what I love about the age of Aquarius, which we're not quite in yet, hate to break the news to you.
Oh, that's all right. We're still cusping and getting close.
Yes, we're cusping our way towards it.
Yeah.
But what I love about the whole Aquarian ideology and mythology is the Aquarian energy is about our social connections.
Uh-huh.
And so just look around, look at all the people out there that are doing amazing things. Like just pick one person and emulate them. Like we don't have to reinvent the wheel. The whole Aquarian mythology is about let's do things, as a group, let's learn from each other. And there's never been a better time. Do you know that you can go online and you can take courses from MIT for free?
Wow. Yeah. I don't know if I want to go to take courses from MIT for free, but yeah, I mean, having taught at university and been an academic, that was a game I had to learn how to play. But as born as an empath and an intuitive, it really meant I had to shut down that intuitive part of myself to go play that game. And so I'm not overly excited about MIT and Harvard and all the rest of those big boys because I have to play a game that is sort of foreign to who I am. Now, I did learn to play the game well. I became one of the best parrots on the planet, right?
Well, I have to tell you, MIT and Harvard, they're changing their tune because they have to get with the times. Do you know they're doing psychedelic research at Harvard now?
And they haven't. They were doing that in San Francisco in the 70s.
Yeah, they haven't been doing. All psychedelic research was shut down in the 70s.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's come back now. And so there's some pretty cool stuff that's happening out there. But yeah.
Well, isn't it true? I mean, I don't know very much, but I've heard that a lot of universities have been bought up by the Chinese.
Well, they certainly have huge grant programs that are funded by them, of course.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there's certainly, I know that Sarah took, I'm not sure which university it was. She did a whole program on what you're interested on, which is a plant-based diet. It was all university-based with, course and curriculum and even certificates and all the rest of it, right? Trying to remember which university it was, but it was a really, really good course, and she got an awful lot out of that. And out of that came many new vegetarian recipes. That was great, yeah.
Well, I've just spent a fortune on going to Amazon and buying plant-based cookbooks, which I like the ones with lots of pictures.
Well, I just Google now. I just Google, and my Brussels sprouts one is from just by Googling. I think there's a site called the best recipes on the planet. I know my chili recipe is from the best chili on the planet. So yeah, I do have recipe books, but I just Google it now, Mr. Googler.
Tyson, I could actually run into my kitchen. I've got a whole book on chili.
Do you? Yeah. Well, this is amazing chili. I finally said, well, I know what every time you visit, you bring me chili, and I love that, and I'm truly grateful. But maybe I should learn how to make it myself. So I'm now going to make my own chili. You disappeared on me. Where have you gone?
I went to get my book on chili.
Oh, well, look at that. Is that you? No, that's not you. That's your book. Wow.
That's my book.
You didn't write that, did you?
No.
No.
But it's certainly inspiring because.
So you're a chili lady.
Well, I think I told you I used to live in South America. I used to teach in South America.
What did
I
you
lived,
teach in South
I lived,
America?
I lived in South America for 10 years.
Right.
And before that, I used to travel to Mexico all the time. In fact, when I was 18, I took my dog. This is how old I am. In the in the early 70s, my dog and I hitchhiked all the way to Mexico.
Wow. Yeah. Sounds like the crazy things I did. Actually, I was running a youth hostel, taking care of those that were hitchhiking, going here, there, and everywhere, right? So there was those on the, we called them two types of people. There were the road warriors, those on the road, and then there was those that were taking care of those that were on the road. I was one of the ones taking care of those that were on the road. So, the rainbow gatherings, I wouldn't go to them. I'd get the report, around the campfire. So what happened at the rainbow gathering? Because I would meet the people on their way and on their way back. So yeah, so that was my 70s. I think we had I can't remember what it was, 35, I can't remember, 7 years, hundreds of thousands of people through the front door. All vegetarian, by the way, our organic gardens, fed them $1 a day. Yeah, good old 70s.
Those were the 70s, no kidding. That was the time to be alive. I often say to people, man, if I did now what I did in the 70s, I'd be dead. I remember Bette Midler once made a joke about this. I really probably shouldn't get into what she said, but basically she said that if she, acted the way she acted in the 70s, she'd be dead.
Yeah, and she probably swore when she said it, right?
Well, quite the free spirit Bette Midler is.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, one of the things I am discovering now, though, with coming out of the 70s, is that the whole community spirit that has come about since COVID has really allowed us, or forced, I don't think forced is right, but it spontaneously, community has arisen where we are, right? So we have a closer community. We eat together communally, usually once a week or once every other week. We share tools and expertise and help each other out, and the network is really grown. It's not just what I would call like-minded people, but it's neighbors of ours as well that maybe don't even have the same value system, but they do have the value system of community in the sense of trading skills and equipment and things like that. So it's sort of like the neighborhood is becoming more fluid as a community of people that care about each other. So this is one of the byproducts of COVID, which is so exciting, which is like the 70s, right? So, and also I'm being approached more and more about, land trust, land stewardship, buying property communally. How do you do that? How do you manage it? How do you make decisions as groups and all those sorts of things, which were all things I learned in the 70s are now seem to be coming back around one more time, right? On maybe a different level of the spiral, but they're coming back.
Yeah. Well, as the old saying goes, everything old is new again. Yeah. And that's part of the Saturn cycle that we're now in. Saturn takes about 2.5 years to move through every zodiac sign. And it tends to be kind of it puts like a stamp on the time period. And the last basically 2.5 to 3 years when Saturn was in Capricorn gave us this incredible out of control capitalism that the world has seen, where we've gone into this sense of global, everything is global now, global production. Yeah. There's that quality in Capricorn, which is all about control, and it's about, the most powerful hierarchy wins. And that's what we've just come through. And now we're in a more liberating time because of the Aquarian energy. And hopefully what we'll be seeing in the next 2 years is more, as you're seeing, a more egalitarian approach, more social approach, a more, I don't know if I can say compassionate approach, because Aquarius is not really known for compassion. It's just known for great ideas and kind of ripping off each other. Aquarians aren't, in a way, the coziest people to snuggle up to. That's more the Leo side.
No,
but they have great ideas. Aquarians have great ideas.
That's right. They need somebody to manage the human aspect of it, put wheels underneath.
Yes.
That's my experience. So don't forget, the phone is on. My class says the phone on. Yes, my phone is on. It's toll free in North America, 1-866-369-746. For the number should be on your screen. This is your chance to ask Corey, what is your moon sign? Because you should be learning by now that your moon sign probably has more effect and influence on you and who you be and how you show up in the world than your sun sign. So why not phone in and find out what's happening with your moon sign? So yeah, we're standing by here having a great conversation, reliving the 70s and psychedelic research at university. God knows what all. But you know, one of the things just to let people know is one of the things like a throwback to the 70s is the whole back to the land and being able to produce your own food, and food security, I think in my world is a major issue. I think we're into some very difficult times, or we could be. I don't know what it says horoscopally, but I do know that, and my intuition says, be aware that you need to know how to grow your own food and take care of yourself. So if that's you, it's not too late. In the Memorial long weekend is traditionally for some people the time to plant your garden. Certainly where Corey is, if she planted anything in the ground before the Victoria long weekend, it would have frozen to death. So somewhere in, you know, it's for most people, well, for us in the banana belt, we're about a month into or over a month from starting. But for you people in Edmonton and in Northern Canada, Edmonton is, well, sort of middle up the province, so it isn't even northern. So from Edmonton north, you're starting your garden, and the Garden Guru Show is definitely a way in which you can get the help to do your plants, to start them, including the biodynamic calendar, when you should plant and how you should plant and how far apart they are, which is a leaf day, which is a root day, which is a no garden day, go lay in, go sit in a hammock or read a book day. And also coming along with that, if you join the Inner Garden Circle, is your journal. You need to keep a journal, when you planted, how you planted, how much you planted, and when you want to do the next planting. So you have a continuous supply of food coming in through the summer. And of course, enough to harvest and put in the root cellar. All right, here we go. Welcome to the Healing Hour.
Hello.
Hello, and who are we talking to?
Natasha.
And how are you and what's up?
Oh, I'm good. I was just interested in the moon sign. And actually, while I'm speaking to you, I can't somehow seem to get onto Facebook again. But yeah, so I want to reconfirm, I think. So if you do it by the Western way, I think my moon sign is Virgo. If you do it the Vedic way, then my moon sign is Leo, I think. But I'd like to confirm.
All right, so what is the first question she's going to ask, and I'll let Corey ask the questions, but she's going to want to know your name, your place of birth, and your time of birth.
Okay, so Pooja, and I was born in Delhi, India, on the 27th of August, 1965, and I was born at 2 p.m., so in the afternoon.
What in the afternoon?
2:02, so 14:02.
14:02 in the afternoon. Okay.
Yeah.
Were you able to hear that, Corey?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I've got her on the 27th of August, 1965 in Delhi. Is that right, Tyson?
I think so. Is that correct? Yes, she says yes.
And what time was she born?
What time was it again?
14:02.
14:02.
14:02. So 2:02 p.m. in Delhi. That's wonderful. I love clients from India because they all know their birth time. Like to the second, almost.
I can't hear you, Tyson.
Oh, and she was saying she likes to work with clients from India because they know their birth time down to seconds.
Yes.
It's part of your cultural tradition.
Yes.
Knowing that.
Absolutely.
Yes. And what was her name again, Tyson?
What's your name again?
Puja. P-U-J-A.
P-U-J,
Puja.
P-U-J-A.
Well,
Puja.
hello. First of all, hello, Pooja. Lovely that you called in.
Hi.
Pooja, do you know you were born in the new moon?
Yeah, I think I know that, but I'm not sure really. Yeah.
Well, Pooja, you were born. Your sun is in Virgo and your moon is in Virgo in the Western system.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Western is Virgo and Vedic is Leo.
And you have a very powerful looking chart, my dear. Have you had your have you had your astrology chart analyzed?
I have, and as I said, again, that's cultural, right? The Indians do this a lot. So yes, it has been analyzed the Vedic way, and
Yes.
I have at some point had it done from a Western astrologer as well, but it's been a while.
Well, I'm going to tell you a few things about yourself, Pooja.
Oh, lovely.
One of the things I'm going to tell you is that you are a natural teacher. You are someone who needs to be highly educated. I hope you have either gone to, I hope you have taken advantage of your ability to be educated, because it's something that you need to do. It's one of the big challenges in your life, is to expand your range of knowledge. Do you know this about yourself?
Yes, I'm constantly studying. I'm constantly attracted to new courses. And I'm a feng shui professional, but I keep upgrading my knowledge and I keep going further and further.
Okay, and one other thing I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to be very what can I say? I'm just going to be as Canadian as possible when I say this. You are what we call a shit disturber. You don't take crap from anybody.
I try not to.
And you're someone who never ever will be content with the way things are. Your whole destiny, Pooja, is about transforming what is real. You are basically a metaphysician, because your job here is to be continually recreating reality for yourself. So have you noticed this, when things get too structured or too like whenever things get just too regular, you'll just find a way to kind of mix it up?
Yeah, as I said, I'm constantly reinventing myself, but it's interesting that I am in metaphysics because I'm in Chinese metaphysics right now, and that's been my goal.
Well, that's interesting. So I'll just give you a little something from the Western side of the fence. My favorite thing to teach is called Earth Wisdom Geomancy, which is working with the angelic and the elemental kingdoms like Feng Shui, but it's more from landscape angels and devas, working in the garden and in the landscape to clear any obstruction. And what that means, certainly on the farm level, is increase in productivity around 30 to 40% in the return, because you're working with the elemental forces and the unseen world. So that's what I love to teach. So you're the type of person I love to have in the courses, because you ask really good questions and it's your passion. You're here not to fit in, as you already know, you're here to change the world.
Yeah.
And also something, Pooja.
As long as I help people, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's changing the world.
Pooja, my dear, I want to just share something with you before we have to take our next call. A very important event happened to you when you were 10 years old.
10?
Yes.
I can't recall at 10. I can't recall, maybe.
Well, I'd love for you to think about this, because you were given a clue to your destiny when you were 10 years old.
Wow.
So,
well, give it a thought. It may pop into your mind.
Give it a thought and think about it, and think about how your life changed around the age of 10, because there was a distinct opening a new path that opened for you at age 10. And it could be something that had to do with your father. It could have something to do with your family background, but age 10 is a critical time. And if anything, what you need to do is go back to that time period and just reconnect with the memories that are still within you, because those memories are about to be reawakened.
Yeah, one of the ways to do that is just go back to age 10 and start writing in a journal anything and everything you can remember at that age, and anything you were told by anybody else, and the memories will start to flow for you.
Right.
Okay, I will try to recall. I can't think of any significant event.
Oh, it will come. It will come. It'll come. So I'm gonna, if you want to send me an email to Tyhson, my name is spelled Tyhson @me.com. I'll send you some Earth Wisdom Geomancy and let you know about what that course is. You may be interested, or you may know somebody in your network who might be interested in that course as well. Well, thank you for phoning in, and hopefully this was helpful for you, and get back to us. We would love to know what you find out about that time, and it has to do with your destiny, my dear. It has to do why you incarnated. So it'd be great to know what's up.
And also what's up for a lot of people right now is there's a new moon that's coming this week, and it's on June the 10th. So we're at the 7th. And this new moon is an eclipse as well. It's a solar eclipse. And so people born around June the 10th of any year are going to get another impulse for rediscovering who they are. Solar, I'm a lunar eclipse specialist, but I do understand how the solar eclipses work. The solar eclipses are, in a way, not as dramatic as the lunar eclipses, because the lunar eclipses affect our day-to-day life. The solar eclipses can take a while to kick in. So people born around June 8, 9, 10, like anybody born now, within 3 days of the eclipse, any year, doesn't matter the year, they're going to be seeking to take some more risks. It's a time again to be curious. It's an eclipse in Gemini, so it's the Gemini themes of having freedom and opening your mind to new experiences. So it's quite a spiritual time. It's going to be a very, very spiritually important time for people born right now. Very, very spiritual time.
Wow, sounds exciting. Well, it's not a boring time on planet Earth, that's for sure. So thanks for phoning in, and let us know what's up in your life. Come on back next week and give us an update.
Sure. Can I just quickly ask, is that true for me also, because I was born, as you said, at the new moon, or is it only for people born on these dates?
It's only for people born on those dates, Pooja.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. So you too can phone in and get lots of information from Corey Varlin about what's happening in your life due to the moon influence. You know, it's not being mooned in the way that you think that mooning is, but it does have an influence on you about how you're showing up on planet Earth and what sort of energies could be affecting you as we come up to the new moon. And we've just had that event of the eclipse, and we got another one, which was the lunar eclipse, and now we got a solar eclipse that's coming up.
They come in pairs. They always come in pairs.
Always come in pairs, right?
So when there's a lunar eclipse, there's a solar eclipse. So, and I'm also happy to report that I'm taking new clients. I've got about a month waiting list. But if you're interested in finding out your cosmic algorithms for your life, or even for what's happening in your day-to-day affairs, go to my website, book a session. I am taking on new clients now. It's been an interesting time for sure. And don't, you know, like, you don't have to have your life in chaos to book a session with an astrologer. In fact, it's just great to know who you are. And I'm quite amazed at how most people don't have a clue who they are. And when I start telling you about, you know, these basic urges you have and abilities, some people are quite amazed. and then they'll call me back or book a session 6 months later. And it's like I sent them on a whole new, journey. So I'm very, very thrilled to be able to do that for people. I love being an astrologer. It's just, I wanted to be a psychologist when I was 13 years old.
Well, yeah, I wanted to be a psychologist too until I went to university and had to
Yeah.
learn about rats and a maze, and I decided that had nothing to do with me. So I decided, well, maybe I want to learn about the human brain. So I did the philosophy of the brain and discovered that Western philosophy was dead and inert and brainless.
Yeah.
And so that was really discouraging for me. So the human transformation, the human evolution as we move to cosmic consciousness has been something that I've always been fascinated with, but it's really not something that Western civilization has spent a lot of time studying other than through psychedelics. So it does give me some hope that psychedelics is being researched at the university level again, because it is transformative. It will knock you out of the social paradigm that we are contained in. If you're locked into a Western paradigm, nothing like a good dose of LSD to knock you out. All right, here we have Kimberly Larson. Welcome to the show, Kimberly. How are you?
Hi, Tyson. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fine. What's up in your life?
Oh, just babysitting at the moment.
Wow. And so is it yours, somebody else's, your grandchild? What?
My niece is 3.
Oh, wow. You're busy. Nieces.
Yeah, 6, 7, and 8.
Wow, 6, 7, and oh my goodness, that's a lot.
Yes.
Yeah. So what's up in your life other than that? I mean, that's a lot.
Yeah, that is. Everything's going well since the last time I talked to you.
Oh, good.
Still doing my deep clearing protocol.
Good for you.
Every day. We're getting ready to do our sun dance.
Oh, great. So you're ready to do a ceremony. Are you going to be doing that? Are you going to be a ceremonial leader this time around, or?
Not a leader. I'm just
an assistant.
Participant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm pleased for you because for a while you were taking a hiatus and it didn't seem right for you to do. So the fact you're going back to do on your spiritual path is really, really positive. That's great.
Yes, I'm feeling a lot better, a lot stronger than I was last year.
Right, great. And you've been helping other people with the deep clearing protocol too. You've been referring people. So thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Sure, you're welcome. Yes.
So, so do you know your moon sign?
I don't.
Do you want to find out?
Yes, I'd love to.
All right. So this Corey's going to ask you some questions. Well, first of all, she's going to want to know that your name is Kimberly Lawson, and she wants to know where you were born.
I was born in Schurz, Nevada. That's SCHURZ. Nevada.
Did you get that, Corey?
Yeah. What's your birthday, Kim?
July 9th.
What year?
What year?
70.
1970? All right.
And what time were you born?
1:32 in the morning.
Lovely. And of course you know that because what? Do you have a birth certificate?
I'm sorry?
How do you know that 1:32? Is it a birth certificate?
Yes.
Yes.
I've always known that for a very long time. I don't know why. It was a random.
Right.
Well, I love having clients like you, Kimberly, because when you have an exact birth time, I can use all my tools in my toolkit.
Oh, great.
You know what's really cool, and this is what's called synchronicity. The last lady, Pooja, had a moon in Virgo, and so do you, my dear.
Oh, okay.
So you are a Cancerian, born right in the middle of the sign, and your moon is in Virgo.
Wow.
Yes. So you have Virgo tendencies, shall we say?
Do you know what Virgo tendencies are, Kimberly?
No.
Do you want to find out?
Yes.
All right.
Well, of course she does, because she's massively curious. You are a
Absolutely.
curious woman, my dear.
Curious George or Curious Kimberly.
Yes. And Kimberly, you have a moon in Virgo, but it's beside the planet Pluto. So you're quite an enigma.
Yeah, she's not the normal type of lady, let me tell you. She's pretty amazing.
You know what I mean by that, right? When I say you're an enigma?
Translation.
I think so.
Yeah. And again, this it's again synchronicity. The last lady that we were speaking to had the exact same energy pattern that you do, which is what I call the shit disturber aspect. It's like nothing that you create is seemingly able to, hang around for very long, because your life is a constant state of everything has to get torn apart and reconstructed and recreated and then recreated again. That's your path, my darling.
Wow.
You are men. You are men. You are Shiva. You are Shiva.
You're the change agent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've noticed that about myself. I change like the seasons, a lot of things in my life.
Yeah. And the thing about having the moon in Virgo is you need not to be too critical about all of this, That's one of the things that I would really tell you is that the people who have anything in Virgo, a Virgo ascendant, Venus in Virgo, they're just way too hard on themselves, way too critical, and they're always looking for perfection, right?
And you're not here to fit in, my dear. So stop trying. Not that you ever did, or not that you ever succeed in trying to fit in, because that's not why you're here.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people like yourself beat themselves up because they couldn't fit in, because they're not here to fit in. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been working on that intensely the past year.
Yeah, and you've made great progress. That's wonderful.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for phoning in. Hopefully that was helpful for you. You got a whole new idea about who you are and how you're showing up in the world and how to give yourself a break. All right. Love you and leave you.
Okay.
Bye for now.
Love you too.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
And that's one of the wonderful things that I love about the work I get to do. So as I was saying before, Tyson, when I was 13, I wanted to be a psychologist because I looked at my crazy family and I went, holy, good Lord, how did these people get into my family? And I was like, I had this older brother who just terrorized me when I was a child. And I just thought, okay, I've got to figure this guy out before he kills me. And I had these family dynamics that were just from hell. And I started to think, okay, I'm going to become a psychologist and figure all this out. But at the same time, I met one of my first teachers who turned me on to crystals and healing energy and, the zodiac signs and horoscopes. And I actually knew what a horoscope was. And he thought that was quite interesting. And, by the time I was 16, I had my own radio show. And by the time I was 19, I was teaching at a college. I was teaching at a community college.
Wow.
And when I graduated, I used to live in Kelowna. And when I graduated from my high school, I moved down to Vancouver. And within a year, I moved in to a house with a couple of other people. And my next door neighbor was the top astrologer in Western Canada.
Oh, and who was that?
Her name was Martha Jan Wallace.
Oh.
And Martha Jan was the most amazing astrologer and my next door neighbor. And she got me really, I was 19 at the time. And she kind of launched my career.
So you hung out over there most of the time, did you?
So there I was, 19 years old, at a community college teaching people in their 30s and 40s. And I thought, how did this happen to me?
Well, it was destined to be. I want to talk about a brand new program it's not a brand new program. It's actually a reconfiguring of a program, or a 3-month program that I've done with other clients that's highly successful. And the reason I want to bring it up right now is because what you do would fit into that program and make it even better than it is, which is, it's really already amazing, but
wow,
even more amazing. Yeah, so it's called the Empath Success Formula. It's a 3-month program. And in the first month, you learn about what are your divine gifts? Everybody has 7 divine gifts, but they all flow through us in different levels of intensity and percentages. Once you know your 3 primary divine gifts, you know what you can expect when you're in the divine flow, and when you're not, you will know what sort of repetitive patterns will keep showing up in your life. And then you can have a conscious choice about whether you want to deal with that once and for all and get back into the divine flow by using your gifts or not. And I'll teach you how the quickest ways to get back into the divine flow when you get kicked out. So what are your divine gifts is the first part. The second part is, what is this incarnation all about? In my case, I use numerology, Dan Millman's approach, the life we were born to live, looking at this incarnation. That's where Corey would come in and do a reading for you. So you understand, okay, now that I have these divine energies flowing me, this is what I came to planet Earth with, these divine gifts as an empath. And then the next step is, okay, now how to get you out of the way. So in that particular case, I have a number of techniques: the deep clearing protocol, the quantum sound therapy, and dealing with how to remove core fractures. These are all ways and techniques to help you get out of your own way. So once you're out of you're out of your own way, you take back your personal power, stand in your truth. You know what your divine gifts are. You know what your superpowers are as an empath. Now you're aligned with why your intention is. And now when we put all that together in a business, it's like having a rocket fuel to who you are. You're no longer in your way. And now you can deliver your passion to the world. So at that stage, I'm going to hand you over to my own business coach who will take you through developing your own business. So 3-month program, $9.97 a month. If you've done the deep clearing protocol, or you worked with me doing the quantum sound therapy, or clearing toxic emotions or core fractures, you will have already done one of the month's worth of work. So that would only be $2,000 for the program. And if you prepay, you would get $250 off of that. Excited about this program. People get great results. Nothing better than knowing who you are, why you're here, and what you're here to do. So there you are, the Empath Success Formula, brought to you by the one and only Tyhson Banighen. And who knows, it could have an addition to that with the Corey Varlin, what is your moon sign and what is your astrological chart saying for you to be the best that you can be. So there you are. And we got 2 more minutes to go in the show.
Well, and I love that idea, Tyhson, because, when I talk about, for instance, the lunar eclipses and the solar eclipses, they give you gifts, the cosmic gifts. And for all of us, you don't have to be of any sign. Right. When there is a lunar eclipse like we just had in May, the cosmic gift is curiosity for all of us. And the solar eclipse that's coming this week, the cosmic gift is the ability to feel free and to have freedom come back into your life and to open up your life to exploration and adventure, to be curious, to be awake, to be alert. And so I would love to close my part of the show by saying, yes, it's just such a gift to know what your cosmic gifts are. And it's just so interesting that Pooja and Kimberly are 2 callers that I talked with. It was so obvious to me what one of their cosmic gifts, that they had this, in a way, the same cosmic gift, right?
Yeah, it's almost like we called them in. They're the ideal client to work with because they're right here as a planetary change agent, which means they're empathic and means that they are already hardwired to do what they're here to do. So I'm excited by that. They may not know that in the moment, but they are here as change agents. And that's the type of people I want to reach, right?
And that's the type of people that are becoming more and more like their ability to teach and to mentor others is so important now, because we all need to know that we can pull through. Now, no matter what we're going through as a planet and a planetary species, we are going to pull through, my friend.
Yeah, we're going to make this. We're going to succeed.
We're going to be able to, we've coped with every situation before. Why should it be different?
Absolutely.
We're going to pull through, and we're not only going to endure, but we're going to become better at who we are and what we're here to do.
Well, thank you very much for showing up. Come on back for next week. So same time, same place. In the meantime, be healthy, wealthy, and wise. See you on the bounce around. Don't forget you can change your life by knowing what your moon sign is and why you've incarnated here anyway. And yes, you are going to make it. So bye for now.